Howdy, and welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Tim, and that's Corbin, and we're MrMaple.com, a family mail order business shipped directly to your door. We do 1,000 varieties of Japanese maples, so check us out on Mr. Maple. Today, we're doing the 10 at 10 release. So we're going to talk about 10 of the 20 trees getting listed at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mr. Maple. We're going to start out today, guys, with Acer Paxii.
Yeah, I mean, we bring you guys some of the rarest maples from around the world. That's what I love about it, man. This one's actually from a province in China, man. Very similar in that same family as Acer Bergerianum, but definitely a different look.
Yeah, I mean, Maples of the World says some people consider this a subspecies of Oblongum. It's very different. Even Maples of the World says this is clearly its own thing. The only thing it could be confused with is possibly the trident maple itself, Acer Bergerianum. It is in section Penophylla. It does graft to Acer Bergerianum. These are from seed origin, so these are all have slightly different genetic variations and are not a grafted clone. It's a really cool, upright, mid-sized tree. You know, can grow about 2 feet of growth per year, and it can have some really nice coral pinks on the new growth as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice how, you know, there's always these things that kind of orbit in similarity to things that we already know and love. And to get stuff that's a rare species in that seedling form is always something that's interesting to me. I mean, obviously 1 gallons can be conditionally shaped, but I mean, obviously you can just tell there's 2 differences within just these 2 trees that Tim and I have here. I think that's so cool. And stuff that usually grafts on to similar families, you know, if it's seeding during the right time, I mean, sometimes you can get some magic going on in the garden, which I love. I really think that as people continue to find enjoyment out of maples, these species trees are going to be something that's going to open the door up for a lot of collecting across different areas and that sort of thing.
So this is a zone 7B through 11 plant, so it does need at least a 7B. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun, and it's a great understory tree out there. It's going to give you something unique and special. And it has some really pastel colors in the fall as well. So it's a rare species you want to grab today in limited numbers. And guys, when we offer some of these rare species, you know, it's not like we have huge numbers of these. So if you're looking for something cool outside the box, grab one of these as soon as they get listed. Guys, we're bringing the heat with Acer Oliveranum hot sauce.
Man, it's getting saucy up in here. This is going to be that new red for that heated, those hot areas in the United States or those hot areas around the world. This is a heat seeker, part of the heat seeker introduction hot sauce. A beautiful, beautiful, consistent red. Pretty dope.
Yeah, it's a great red to pair out there if you have hot blonde. It is part of our heat seeker series, like you were mentioning. It was a selection that was found by Masao Shiano in Japan, and he had a code name on it. And when we got the tree from him, he said, I don't want it under that name out there. That's not the name for it. That's just a code name. And he said, why don't you come up with a name? So we actually came up as the term hot sauce, got his blessing. Masao Shiano got his start doing food photography. So it's an ode to him as well, because hot sauce having to deal with food, heat having to deal with, it's an Acer Oliveranum, being able to handle those hotter areas with that blood good style leaf. Guys, amazing member of the Heat Seeker series, and one that sells out fast when we list it. Jump on them today. We're hoping to try to get a bigger set out there for people to be able to, more people to be able to get it, but they do sell out fast every time we list our hot sauce.
Yeah, I mean, if you could only buy 2 trees, man, and you're in a hotter area, maybe you don't have, you know, you have enough room to get a nice sized tree, but you can only have 2. I think hot sauce, hot blonde, they're going to give you some play throughout the year. It's going to look super nice, and then kind of have this hegemony, this harmony at the end during fall time, where you kind of see those picked up reds from hot blonde and the picked up reds from hot sauce. That's a match made in heaven right there, honestly. Beautiful, beautiful trees, especially for that hotter climate.
If you think you only can have 2, think about containers. You could have a lot more.
Guys, from awesome species of maples, now we're moving into some conifer territory. We've got an awesome Pinus thunbergii Shirome Genome.
Yeah, Shirome Genome is a selection that was brought over from Japan by one of our good friends, Barry Yinger. It is an extremely variegated thunbergii. I love the thunbergiis because they're salt tolerant, heat tolerant, drought tolerant. They can go in colder zones too, but people who live near the ocean can actually grow Pinus thunbergii. It's a great bonsai plant. The unique thing about Shirome Genome is you have some really nice banded variegation on this that's really beautiful and stands out in the garden.
Yeah, I love how it's like, I always talk about this, but how something can look one way up close, but then completely different as you move further back from it. And that's kind of how this goes. Whenever you get up close to it, you know, you really notice those banded needles that is going on with that kind of interlaced yellow and green. But as you kind of take a step back, you really just enjoy mostly that yellow with these kind of flashes of green that really add a lot of depth to the tree. You know, black pines grown around the world, very hardy tree, very aesthetic tree. These really lend well to certain Japanese pruning styles as well that you can really rock with. And having that little pop of yellow in the garden, especially whenever it starts to get dreary as we enter the wintertime, super, super nice. These conifers pair well with other nice blue conifers and also some nice Japanese maples too.
Guys, next up, we've got Acer palmatum, Lima Gold.
Yeah, this is a super cool dwarf, tight, dense growing tree. I love looking at the structure, is super nice. These kind of just drop leaf. They're putting on a fall show whenever they arrived in the truck. Kind of a little bit past that right now. You can kind of see some of those reds and oranges that I was getting. But the structure is so nice. The uniformity of a tree can be very important, especially during that winter time.
Yeah, Lima Gold was a selection by Dick Wolf. It was introduced in the trade, though, by our good friend Ed Shin and Jay Acer. He's one of the guys that was able to save this in the trade. It was a seedling that was an evaluation tree that was given to him by the late Dick Wolf of Red Maple Nurseries, who introduced Emperor 1. Lima Gold, named after Lima, Pennsylvania, or Lima, Pennsylvania, has a dense, compact shape, small leaves, and a tightly layering habit similar to that of Macawi Etsubusa. So in the Macawi Etsubusa family, this one has some of the smallest foliage of any of them that are out there, making a great ideal candidate for bonsai or containers.
Yeah, I think this one definitely, even as 1 gallons, they really have a nice presence out there in the garden. You know, that ruffled leaf shape and how tight and dense it is. It just kind of builds this nice little small canopy that's going on. Really nice coverage for this type of maple. And I just love how that textural difference can really add something in the garden. Lima Gold is pretty awesome. Guys, next up we got an awesome variegated maple, Acer palmatum cotton candy. Now this is a super dope tree going into that fall color, and guess what? That variegation leads to that two-tone color effect going on.
Yeah, this is a selection by Delaux around the same time they introduced Lillian's Jewel at Delaux Nursery. This is a beautiful one that can get solid pink variegation that is just cotton candy. Just looks like a bunch of cotton candy all across it. And that's where it gets the name. It gets some nice pink swirls in the bark, and some of these have some really nice swirling in the bark right now as well. The more you prune on this style of variegation, I've got a full video on how to prune Rinonishiki style variegated Japanese maples to promote more variegation. You do just that. You promote more variegation. So you can have spirals in the bark and on the leaves. So really cool container plant, easy plant to grow, and it's one of those plants that's going to keep putting on lots and lots of color with each and every flush.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that I think whenever you have a large set of them in the greenhouse and they're just showing that beautiful variegation, it really is. It's like a sea of that swirling, beautiful, like Rinonishiki style variegation with that beautiful pink and red color going on. Really, really dynamic, super, super beautiful. And this is one, if you love those variegated plants, you're not going to want to miss out on cotton candy. Guys, Acer japonicum Osami.
Yeah, guys, if you love japonicums, we're bringing the heat. We always try to offer a lot of japonicums here at Mr. Maple. There are not a whole lot of them, and you can actually collect almost all of them that are here in the trade. We've got a full podcast on Acer japonicum full moon Japanese maples where we discuss just that. So check that out. Here we've got Osami, which is an upright 8 to 10 footer in 10 years that just can give you some amazing fall color of yellows, oranges, and reds.
Yeah, I mean, them japonicum lovers have been eating good recently, man. I feel like we're getting a lot of 1 gallon japonicums in at the nursery, which I love personally. I mean, one of my favorite maples is in that category. And it's one that I'm really starting to kind of enjoy a lot more. Like, you're starting to see the dynamicness and something that you really come to know as you garden more and more And a lot of you people are probably starting out just like me, but consistency is one of the most important things out in the garden. You know, you can have a tree that is, you know, going to give you that craziest looking thing, like, you know, every once in a while, or you can have that thing that shows up, you know, it puts in the work every single year and gives you something beautiful. And I really think that, you know, Japonicums cast, you know, that's kind of their thing. They're super consistent. They give you that beautiful tree look and then an amazing fall color.
And many of the Japonicums, like Owasami, turn to fall color based on the day length shortening in the fall, not the cold weather. And it's because of that, you get a very consistent fall color each and every year. Some years you may have an extra early frost that may damage all fall color. But typically, if you're going to have fall color to anything in the garden, it's going to be your Japonicums like Owasami.
Guys, coming up, we got Acer palmatum, one of these Makawa families for you Makawa maniacs out there. We got Tattoo right here, man.
Tattoo, one of the slowest growing members in that Makawa family. So we're bringing you the Lima Gold and Tattoo today. Two different Makawa family selections on the table. Guys, we try to bring the heat each and every week. This one, think of it like Makawa, but slower growing with ruffled edges. That's really what makes this tree stand out and gives it that extra oomph out there in the garden or as a container. It is beautiful, slow growing, and it's super, super awesome just because it has that ruffled edge. It gives it something extra for that Makawa type.
Yeah, definitely. This one, as you kind of develop a specimen of this, I think it really becomes more and more dynamic in the garden. I really think having that ruffled edge is super important. Being even tighter and denser than even the regular Makawa is something that's crazy to me, giving you that really nice dwarf size. Yeah, this is going to go great in a pot, honestly. If you get something that pairs up nice with that green, maybe some nice earthy reds or something like that, to really play with it all year, you're going to enjoy this one. I think you could really even make this more compact if you go in and kind of remove some of that summer flush of growth and just really maintain just like the tightest, densest little tree you could get, man.
Yeah, awesome tree. Sells out fast when we list them. Jump on them today. Acer palmatum Tattoo.
Guys, Shigi no Hoshi, an introduction from Tsukasa Maples in Japan. Very beautiful cream on green reticulated variety.
Yeah, it's one of the slower growing in that ghost-like family. It's not a ghost member series because it's not a selection by Talon Buchholz, but it has that reticulated variegation that the ghost series are known for. 4 foot by 4 foot in 10 years. Super amazing. You get that cream colored leaf with green veins, really beautiful. But then in the fall, you get some beautiful shades of yellow.
I love, like, it's kind of like, you know, obviously there's a lot of reticulated varieties, but it's awesome whenever you can say, hey man, I want that specific tree, but make it smaller. I mean, we just had Tattoo, so that's a really nice representation of that going on. And then Shigi no Hoshi right here, giving you that really nice dwarf size. I mean, 4 foot by 4 foot in 10 years. That's very manageable for a lot of people. Especially if you have a smaller garden. And I really think that size really lends itself to reticulated variety. You know, it's not going to get much taller than you in the next couple of years, you know, but being able to just kind of keep that foliage close, to be able to look directly at it, enjoy the nuance and beauty of it as it kind of grows and gets larger, is just always something that's nice. Because there's, I mean, you know this, sometimes trees look different when you're looking up underneath of them than they do whenever you're looking over top of them.
And it's a great container plant. It's easy to grow. It's great to pair out there with something like a Magashiguri that we listed a couple weeks ago. So definitely something cool to grab a hold of and put out there in a container or in the garden. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun to hold that reticulation long throughout the season. But it's going to be a great reticulated Japanese maple for that small place in the garden.
Guys, next up, another introduction from Japan. We got Ueno Yama, also known as Ueno Amare, the pride of Ueno or Ueno Mountain, a beautiful spring interest Japanese maple.
Now, we were told in Japan that Ueno Yama and Ueno Amare are kind of like saying the same thing. Ueno Yama is the mountain that people look up in Ueno. Ueno is known for its cherry blossoms, where there's just things in the spring that are just really beautiful. Ueno Amare means the pride of Ueno. And if you know anything about Japan, the pride of Japan is Mount Fuji. They're always thinking about mountains. And so essentially, it's two ways of saying the exact same thing. So these are the same trees. These come from our Buchholz farm with and they've got the tag on them called Winnow Amare, but it is the exact same tree. They're indistinguishable. And it leaves out in the spring with some really nice shades of orange. And then after that, you get some really nice shades of yellow right after that. It's one of those trees in the spring that's extremely beautiful, and the foliage is almost like a flower. And that's what reminds us of Winnow, which is Winnow Park, which is known for their cherry blossoms and all the cherry trees they have there at Winnow Park.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome that there's so much play in the species and cultivated varieties of maples. You can have something that leaves out early. You can have something that leaves out later in the year. You can get it for a hot climate. You can get it for a cold climate. And yeah, I think that oranges and yellows are something that's super important. I know Tim's always talking about throwing that yellow lets you just see those different hues and values in the greens, and it really can make your landscape that already exists even more dynamic just by adding something that just makes it all better than the summation that you got.
So one thing to note too, even though Winnow Ayama leaves out early in the spring, here in Western North Carolina, it rarely gets frost damage over my parents' yard. So that's a neat feature about this selection, is that even though it leaves out early, you don't really get much frost damage. I think my dad always joked and said that it had antifreeze in the leaves. It's got something going on, but it's a really beautiful spring interest tree for your garden, easy to grow. And guys, let it be that beacon of spring. When you know this thing's in bloom, you know all the other maples are coming right behind.
Guys, from spring interest to winter interest, I mean, we got some beautiful paper bark maples, Acer Gricium, super, super dope.
Yeah, guys, the Acer Gricium paper bark maple is one of the most popular trees in the trade today because it has exfoliating and cinnamon flaking on the bark itself, which is really interesting whether it's in leaf or out of leaf. It has a trifoliate leaf, which will remind some people something akin of poison ivy, but it's actually a maple leaf. It is a beautiful green leaf that turns to a brilliant shade of red in the fall. So it gives you some very nice interest out there with the foliage and also the bark.
Yeah, I think that something that's so nice. I was just looking at one of these at the NC North Carolina Arboretum, and they kind of pruned one back, just keeping it really small. And it's kind of the entrance to the bonsai exhibit. And something I love is like whenever plants can contrast themselves. So like that dark green leaf really contrasts with those earthy brown cinnamon tones that you get. Super, super beautiful, flaking bark. I remember like the first time I ever saw this one was probably at Don Schmidt Nursery. I think we were touring their little private garden in the backyard. And I just remember seeing this hulking, beautiful tree with this peeling bark. And that was my first introduction to this tree. And it's something that sticks with me. I think it's really striking, and it's really nice.
Guys, this is a great tree to put out there. It's slow growing, typically growing about 6 to 8 inches of growth per year. But as it matures and makes a larger tree out there, it is beautiful. Matt and I actually had the privilege of being able to go to Harvard University, to Arnold Arboretum, and seeing some of the very first ones that E.H. Wilson collected. And there's trees there that are over 100 years old of Acer Gricium. Just being able to see something that was collected, brought to Europe, and then some of the specimens were shipped over here to the United States, seeing such old paper barks, it's a beauty to see out there. Because as they age, they get thicker and they get more exfoliation on the bark, just making a beautiful tree out there year-round in your garden.
Yeah, I mean, what more could you ask for? I think that's super dope. I love just tracing that lineage of certain trees and seeing like how far they go back in America, how far they go back in Asia and different countries. Super, super amazing, and we all get to be a part of that, which is super dope.
Now guys, we've got an open house coming up November 21st and 22nd. That's not this Friday and Saturday, but next Friday and Saturday. And it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Basically Black Friday here at MrMaple, and you'll be able to shop in person. It's the week before the actual Black Friday, so you know it's not going to interfere with your holiday plans. But guys, this is going to be a fun time. There's going to be a lot of cool plants around here that you didn't see at the last open house. We've had many tractor trailers come in that we've unloaded here since. And we're actually staying in a greenhouse. And we're in one of the only spaces in the greenhouse. And the whole greenhouse is new plants since the last open house. So a lot of amazing plants. And some of these will be the very first time they've ever been introduced.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, if that doesn't get you chomping at the bits, I don't know what would, but yeah, I just love the fact this greenhouse is completely empty one day, the next day it's completely full. That's what it's all about, man. I love getting new trees and seeing new sets. It's super dope. And yeah, y'all get to reap the benefit, especially on the 10 at 10 when we drop some of the craziest stuff we got at the nursery. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure, you know, drop a like, comment if your favorite tree on today's 10 at 10 that we highlighted, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And remember, take care.
God bless.
Have a great day.